Hello, and welcome to another episode of Soap Goes to the Oscars. This is episode 17, and I'm still in the 1930 to 31 Oscars. This was another 1931 movie called Skippy, and I had to get this one on DVD from eBay. Couldn't find it streaming anywhere. Yeah, it cost a little more than I might have wanted to spend, but that's okay. We'll get through it. So this one, a little story beforehand. As I started watching this, my wife was awake and was watching with me, and I was talking about how the main actor in it, who's a little boy, I said, he as a grown man, he still had this same exact face, and because I remember him in other movies when he was older, and I said, yeah, they even made a law around him because of his parents stealing his money, and which is called the Coogan Law, which is Jackie Coogan. It's based on when he got in. Jackie Coogan was 4 years old when he was in The Kid with Charlie Chaplin, and when he got into like his 20s, he wanted to, see his bank account and all the earnings he had made, expecting like about $4 million, and he had nothing because his parents had taken it all. So at the time, I think the law, the California law stated that all the money would go to the parents or whatever. But now the Coogan law requires that at least a certain percentage of it goes into a trust for the child. So I'm looking up Jackie Coogan and looking up that information. And I looked at him as an adult and I was like, oh, he doesn't look anything like he did when he was a kid. I guess I'm remembering something else. And then I decided to actually look up this movie, Skippy, and realized that it was Jackie Cooper that is the star of it, not Jackie Coogan. So pretty damn close. So you can understand my mix up. But anyway, I realized then I realized that Jackie Cooper, who was in this movie Skippy, was Perry White in the Superman movies with Christopher Reeve, and he looks like an old man when he's a little boy. Like, and I don't know if that's just because I knew him more as an adult from the Superman movies, and so that's the face I see. And then when I see him as a little kid with the same exact face, it makes me think the face looks old or what. But he looks exactly the same as he did in this as when he did as an adult. So, and the other thing with the Jackie Cooper thing was that I was trying to do the math on ages and it wasn't working out. He was 4 years old in 1921, Jackie Coogan, and then this was 1931. I was like, he would have been like 14 at this point, but the kid looks really young, and again, because it was Jackie Cooper. So anyway, to jump into this one, this is 1931, reading from Wikipedia again. 1931 American pre-code comedy film based on the popular comic strip and novel Skippy by Percy Crosby. Screenplay by Joseph Mankiewicz, Don Marquis, Norman MacLeod, and Sam Mintz. Film stars Jackie Cooper, not Coogan in the title role, but in a fun twist of fate, Jackie Coogan's little brother, Robert Coogan, is one of the main characters in this. Mitzi Green and Jackie Searle also in it. Director Norman Taurog won the Academy Award for Best Director at age 32, and he was the youngest winner in this category until Damien Chazelle won for the 2016 film La La Land. Film also did well enough to inspire a sequel called Sookie, 1931 as well. Skippy was released April 5th, 1931 by Paramount Pictures. For his performance, Cooper, at the age of 9, became the youngest person to earn an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor in a Leading Role. He was also nominated for Best Picture, obviously, which is why I'm watching it. So with the other movies in this category, I think East Lynne was the first one I watched, and I said in my other reviews here, I said that I hated it as soon as it started. I was like, oh, I'm not going to like this one. And then the front page, I said, oh, I'm going to like this one as soon as it started. And this one, I said I was going to hate it, but I actually ended up liking it very much. It's really good. It's pretty funny, a little bit sad, a little bit funny. It's sort of an odd choice for Best Picture, and I don't know if that's just because it is kids mostly. The story is a little bit light, but the performances are very good. Jackie Cooper is really quite amazing in this at the age of 9 or whatever he was. So the story of this is that Skippy, played by Jackie Cooper, is the son of a strict doctor named Herbert Skinner and his wife. Skinner forbids his son Skippy to play in the pauperized shanty town because of the unhygienic and criminal surroundings there. His father is works for the Board of Health. But Skippy and his friend Sydney, Jackie Searle, still go to Shantytown, where Skippy meets a new boy named Suki, Robert Coogan, Jackie Coogan's little brother. He saves the small boy Suki from much bigger bully Harley Nubbins, and they become friends. One day, Harley accidentally breaks the windshield of his own father's car with Skippy's yo-yo. Harley, who has a very aggressive and brute father, blames it on Skippy and Suki. Mr. Nubbins, who works as a dog catcher, takes Suki's dog, Penny, and demands that they pay him for the damages if they want their dog back. So Skippy ends up breaking into his piggy bank, which has $3 in it. They go to take it to the dog catcher to give him the $3 to get a dog license and release the dog. And he says that he's going to take that money instead for the damage to his windshield, and that they need another $3 for the dog license. And he threatens that he'll kill the dog if they don't get the money. So they spend the next couple of days. He gives them three days to get the $3. So they spend the next few days selling bottles, lemonade, wood, staging a performance to earn money. They do like a little magic show and stuff. Skippy's father doesn't want to lend them the remaining 30 cents. That's not really accurate description. They come up with 270, and they go to, initially he asked his father for the money for the second $3, and his father said no. He would need a good reason for it and everything. And so when they come up with $2.70, he's like, I bet my dad will just give us the 30 cents. So they go to his father's work at the Board of Health, and he's in a meeting and refuses to come out and see them. So it's not that he doesn't want to lend them the remaining 30 cents, it's that he doesn't even talk to them about it. So they go back to the dog catcher, and I'm going to spoil some things here, but they go back to the dog catcher to try and see if they can negotiate and get the dog for $2.70 and then make up the other 30 cents. But Mr. Nubbins, being the asshole that he is, he has already killed the dog, Penny. So Suki is inconsolable, runs home to his mother. Skippy is very upset. He blames his father for it, basically because in the dog catcher's office, there's a sign up about, the reason they have to kill the dogs is because of health reasons, and it's signed by his father, who again is the head of the Board of Health in the area. So he blames his father for that. His next morning, though, his father sees that he's upset, and he goes and gets him a bicycle, which he'd been wanting, what he'd been saving his piggy bank money for. But he ends up trading the bicycle to his friend Eloise, played by Mitzi Green, for her new dog. And then he takes the dog to Suki. Dr. Skinner then has a change of heart and buys Suki a licensed dog before Skippy knew this. Dr. Skinner had already bought him a new dog, gets his mother a job, and refrains from ordering Shantytown destroyed. That was another kind of plot point, was that it's kind of like the Goonies. Shantytown was going to be destroyed by the Board of Health. So then while they're there, they accidentally break Mr. Nubbins' new windshield, and Nubbins comes up and threatens them, and Dr. Skinner punches him and shows that he's a good father, as this says. So just some fun fact here in the production: the scene where the dog dies, director Norman Taurog needed to get his nephew, Jackie Cooper, to cry. So he told young Jackie that he was going to kill his own dog by dragging the dog offset through his grandmother and then having a security guard shoot the dog. Cooper did the scene, but despite finding the dog was not actually harmed, he was still hysterical for hours afterward, to the point of needing a sedative. Wow. The shit they used to do for movies. And it was a very good. I just thought he was really good, but apparently he thought his dog had just been murdered. So that's not cool. So this was a very good movie. It was funny, more so in the beginning, had some funny moments, and he was just so, like in the beginning of the movie, he's supposed to be getting ready in the morning and pretends to wash his hair and everything and make sure that he gets water on his toothbrush, but doesn't actually brush his teeth. And then when his mom asks if he brushed, he's like, go up and feel the toothbrush if you want. He's like a clever little boy. Just a very good performance from him and the other kids as well. Sookie, Robert Coogan, he's a little younger, not quite as good a performance, but still pretty decent for the age for sure. And I don't know, just overall a good movie. Best Picture, obviously it didn't win Best Picture, but is being nominated. Yeah, I mean, I guess like I like this more than Eastland or Trader Horn for sure. So ranking so far, I would say the front page is still my number one, and then Skippy, and then probably Trader Horn and Eastland still riding at the back. And I don't think that that's going to change much with Cimarron being the final movie, the winner for this year. So that'll be the next one. That one is available on Prime Video, I think, or Apple. I might have to rent it, but it'll be cheaper than buying a DVD from eBay, that's for sure. I did have to get a couple for the next round. Again, after this year of Oscars, they start going up. So next year's has 8, the year after 10, and some of them have up to 12, I think. And the year after that, 1934 has 12. So up until 1944, they have just a random amount. And then 1944, they started with just 5. So that'll be a relief once they get up to that point. Again, I will say that, a lot of these movies, I just never would have had your interest in them before, which is why I've sort of forced myself to do this. And, you can argue whether or not a Best Picture nomination or a win means anything. I think maybe back at this time it meant a little more, but I'm sure there were other movies that came out that people would have complained about not being the Best Picture. I don't know, especially back at this time, the ceremonies, I'm sure, were more for the people making the movies. It, wouldn't have been televised. People probably didn't even know about any of this stuff. So for the most part, if you were outside of Hollywood. So, until TV became a thing and they started televising these, it probably wasn't a big deal for the average moviegoer. The first Academy Awards were held in 1929. The second ceremony, which occurred in 1930, was the first one broadcast by radio, and the 1953 ceremony was the first one televised. So I guarantee that up until 1953, the average person didn't care about the Oscars. So this was really more for the industry, and maybe that meant more. Maybe it didn't. Now it's sort of it's a crapshoot. Some of the movies that won recently, like No Man's Land, that's not a good movie. Like that shouldn't have even been nominated for Best Picture, let alone won. So yeah, anyway, that's all I got for this one. And moving on to the last one of 1931, and then we'll go from there. So see you next time.